Its name used to be the People's Palace. It was the setting for the 1951 Festival of Britain. It was a break from the traditions of architecture, the rather civic, slightly pompous buildings. It was a fairly straightforward building on a series of levels, even with lifts. But then it was added to on the front. And that frontage, which provides the wonderful views across the river and so on, the floor levels of the front don't coincide with the floor levels of the main building. It's half a staircase down. So that was one of the major things that we had to address in that building, was to insert a new lift into the building and its concrete floors and so on. You have to be very careful where it's a bit like a surgeon's scalpel. You're looking for an opening in the structure where you can form a cutout and drop a lift in where it's sensible for a lift to be. That was the major accomplishment. Means of getting into the various auditoria level were greatly improved. The acoustics were improved for people who can't hear very well. The colour scheme facilitates people with partial sight to get around. And if you go there today, you'll find it busy, heaving, lively, and being thoroughly enjoyed by everybody at no great cost. It is my favourite building. Difficulties that disabled people face, in a sense, everyone will tell their own story, and it'll be quite individual, but you can, broadly speaking, put it into boxes. So somebody like me who has difficulty getting around, the obvious difficulty is stairs. And the nuances of stairs, the shape of the handrail, the height of the treads, the length of the going, is all important for me. For a blind person, it may not be. Or for somebody who's partially sighted, they'll be looking for contrast and colour on those stairs. Can I see the handrail? Going down the stairs, can I see each individual step? And for somebody who may have a hearing impairment or be deaf, it's the acoustics. Can I hear? Can I hear the alarm go off when everybody else is running out of the building? So we'll all have a different story to tell, and I think certainly my job as an access consultant is to understand that wide range of stories and to bring them to bear onto a building design as best I can. It's the Grey Eye Theatre building in North London. It's an old stable building that's been very cleverly converted and is smart. And because of one of the problems of so-called buildings for disabled people is they seem to want to declare themselves as such, whereby you have unnecessary colours and unnecessary focus. What Grey Eye does is that's all there, but it's sublimated to what we might call good architectural quality design, and that's the trick. Really, is I don't want to live in a house that declares me as being a disabled person. What you want is a smart house or a smart building that has quality about it that you can enjoy. And that's what they managed to accomplish at Grey Eye. Let's look at the international scene, and there's one in particular, which is the Louvre in Paris, which is an enormous museum. And the Japanese architect, actually, I.M. Pei, was commissioned by the French government to improve, in particular, accessibility to the museum. He dug a big hole in the courtyard surrounded by the building and constructed a glass pyramid over that hole, and in the hole was inserted or built a wonderful lift with a helical stair that wraps around it. And everybody goes in one entrance, not you go in one entrance because of my stick, I go in another entrance. No, nothing like that. This was an inclusive entrance where we all shared the experience of going in, going down into an enormous foyer and then dispersing underneath the ground into the museum itself. And so it was quite an inspired idea, and it's what we call inclusive design. That was an inclusive solution. My upbringing was at what we call now special schools. It's often supposed that when you're in a special school, which is like a boarding school with a bit of a difference, that you're almost bound to be unhappy. I wasn't. I was very happy and thoroughly enjoyed myself. But as you grow up in life, you realise that you're living your life rather differently to other children. And then there's a moment of realisation there that you have to come to terms with. A new building had been commissioned for the school by a proper architect, etc. But the art teacher made it a competition for any of the children to try and design a building, our new assembly hall for the school, and which I then entered the competition, did some drawings, and I won. And it's a great thing to win, isn't it? And so the combination of the opportunity, the encouragement, and actually winning something, it presses a button. I think the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games really have represented a shift of public thinking. We were involved recently with the refurbishment of swimming baths in North London. 100 years old, tired, needed completely fitted out and so on. It's now fully accessible, incidentally. Bright ideas, like if you climb down steps into the pool, maybe the floor can come up and greet you, and then it goes down. That's what we've got there. The person who was asked to open the swimming pool on the opening day was Ellie Simmons. It took the roof off. They cheered, not because they were sorry for her or found her curious in any way, but because of what she had accomplished. And to them, she was an inspiring person. The big change is the younger people have now captured or caught on to the contribution that the Paralympians have made, and it's extended their thinking. That's the breakthrough, and we need to make good use of it, by the way.